over to the topic of, identity tied to parental dreams and kind of what
Mm,
your thoughts are on that and how it
mm,
ties into culture.
yeah. 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 I feel like, yeah, that's just the title of that identity tied to parental dreams is so,
Mm-hmm.
it brings up sort of sadness for me. It's like, I think I
Mm-hmm.
see it a lot with young adults, right, who are just sort of figuring out what they want to do in life, like not just work wise, but just the sort of space they want to take up in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people I work with, and I think my own experience too is that there's like a very clear expected path. Like, this is what you should do. This is how you should um, pursue your studies. This is the kind of jobs that are well regarded and acceptable. That I think, yeah, my parents weren't as I think my parents had a lot less rigid expectations of me than other folks that I've gotten to connect with and clients I work with. But it's still there. I mean, it's there as sort of this yeah, this like anchor perhaps of like this,
Mm-hmm.
especially, I don't know, I think I'm jumping around to a few different thoughts, but I'll say them
Mm-hmm.
and you can pick one to not get us all scattered. But this
Yeah.
idea of, I think that, like, let's say my parents have a particular worldview based on their particular experiences and their particular
Mm-hmm.
paths in life. And so then their expectations of me were within that sort of framework, right? That there was
Sure.
kind of some set expectations. And I think that me kind of following this path of being a mental health professional already strayed from that. It was
Mm-hmm.
something quite like alien for my family
Mm-hmm.
to learn about as I went about the journey of figuring out that that's what I wanted to do. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, I think I work with a lot of folks who are at this, especially in your early 20s to mid 20s to beyond, that you're really sort of straddling.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's been expected of me. Here's the paths I've been walking along that were the right ones. Like, I did what I'm supposed to do, and maybe I don't feel like this is it. Like, maybe I don't feel like this is fully what I would like to do, right? Work wise or otherwise, that there are things that don't feel quite satisfying or meaningful or personally important, but I'm checking the
Mm-hmm.
boxes. I'm doing the things I was supposed to do. So I think that's where there's room to really, yeah, have this conversation of how much of your identity and how much of your decision making throughout your life has
Mm-hmm.
been based on family expectations, specifically parents, perhaps. And at what point do you take a pause to sort of really check in with yourself, right? Of what is
Yeah.
it that you want? What is it that is important to you? What are your values? So I think, yeah, that work is really enlivening when I get to sort of work with people who have just followed
Mm.
a path or just
Yeah.
done the right thing. But they're not
Mm.
happy, right? They're not feeling
Right.
fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can very much see that in some of my clients. I think there's this sense of, for some of them, it's like the they feel obligated to take on this career because it's more stable. And if they don't, they'll be met with a lot of questioning and anxiety. And that can be hard for anyone, yet alone someone who is trying to figure it out for themselves. And so oftentimes, what I see is like, okay, how can we get to a place where you feel comfortable in your decisions to go this path? And then later down the line, you feel comfortable being able to reveal that to your parents. And it's I wonder, sometimes I don't know if you experience this with your clients, but sometimes it's like there's this fear of disappointing, there's this
Mm,
fear of, you know there's all this sacrifice that their parents and grandparents made, that they're not living up to that if they choose this different path. And so that can be a heavy weight to hold, and especially if there might not be some understanding around it.